Hi, I'm Jesse White, Illinois Secretary of State, and I want Marty Levinson to know that I'm cutting all the waste in the Secretary of State's office.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that lemon light city.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine show with the greatest cameraman around, Sonny Hirsch, and your host, Avi Myers.
Thank you, Marty. Avi Myers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web at www.ntnm.org. All of our shows are available on YouTube, over 250,000 shows watched. Go to the NTNM site, you'll be able to see it. We're always very big on community policing. Sonny is, in his spare time, is the chairman of the District Advisory Committee of the 24th District. And if you go to the NTNM site, is there a link on the NTNM for CAPS 24? Or? Well, caps24.org. And we'd like to thank our commander, Thomas Waldera, for keeping community policing going, as well as the entire community policing staff, which consists of Sergeant Bob Kane, and Zelidith Moore, and Mike Strahula. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Mike. And thank you for all the help and the assistance in keeping community policing going. We have our monthly meetings for the 10 sector on the second Thursday of the month at 7 o'clock. The rest of the meetings this year are at Warren Park. It is a pleasure to once again have one of my all-time favorite guests, and somebody who's just I mean, even if he wasn't an elected official, or even if he didn't play in the Cubs minor league system, he'd still be a great guy. And I want to thank Dave Drucker for the arrangements, and hi to Beth Kaufman, who actually lives around the corner. She still work for you guys?
Yes.
Okay, got to mention her. And that is the Secretary of State of Illinois, and about the only elected public official who actually gets cheered at a ball game. That's Jesse White. How are you?
Avi, nice to see you.
First of all, my pleasure to see you.
Glad to be here with my landsman.
You're definitely my landsman.
Well, I just got back from Israel, so I had an opportunity to visit that wonderful country.
Wow.
For anyone who have not seen it, it's a treat as well as a treatment. The food, the people, the scenery, just a classy place. It's a beautiful place. It reminds me of Chicago, especially Tel Aviv.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of the cities in Israel is a sister city to Chicago.
Oh, it's wonderful. But I also had an opportunity to take with me the Jesse White Tumblers.
Oh, nice.
And we had the great pleasure of performing there on 6 occasions. But we performed on a military base. And when I indicated to the troops that I was a member of the 101st Airborne Division, I was a paratrooper, they gave me a standing ovation.
Wow.
So it was good to be with them.
Yeah.
Good to be
You were with the IDF?
Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, my nephew right now is serving.
Yeah, great military base, wonderful young people. They love their country. They're committed to making sure that nothing happens to it. And I just applauded and I commended them for a job well done.
No, that's terrific. And I'm glad you're a supporter. And it's wonderful that the Tumblers got to go there too. I mean, I was just there once, and I'm afraid to go a second time. I don't think I'll ever come back. And I like Chicago too much.
Well, we've been invited there a second time, so next year we're going to go back to Israel.
Nice.
Yeah, we also performed at the Madrasa.
At the what?
I think it's called Madrasa, or I think that's how it is.
Masada?
Masada, that's what it is, Masada. And there were about 5,000 people there at the Masada, and we had a chance to entertain them.
Yeah, that's in hot climate.
Oh, it's unbelievably hot.
That's the desert.
You have to have plenty of water with you.
Yeah, that was what I learned that in the desert, definitely.
Yeah, great scenery, great people.
No, that's terrific. And listen, the fact of the matter is, in the Jewish community, I was telling some of my friends, one of my friends in particular, unfortunately he has a day job, but one of my best friends always talks about, like, I really want to meet Jesse White. And I invited him, but his boss didn't want to let him off today. But
well, let's make it happen, okay?
Yeah. Well, I'll invite him next time around too.
Thank you.
No, it's always a pleasure. You're actually well. Let's talk about the Tumblers for a minute. You've got a new building going up?
We have a building that's coming up at 412 West Chicago Avenue. It's called the Jesse White Community Center. It is a state-of-the-art gymnasium, state-of-the-art gymnastic facility, game room, weight room, computer lab with about 30 computers, an outdoor basketball court, a playground. It's a safety net, the last end of the tunnel for a lot of young people. It is the home base for the Jesse White tumbling team. It will be up and running on July 1st of next year. And we're proud of the fact that we have this facility so that these young people can come there to become better educated, better informed, use idle time in a positive way, perfect their gymnastic skills. And then, of course, they will have about 100 volunteers a day coming in
Wow.
to help them become better educated, better informed. It's a win-win situation for all of us.
Oh, that's really terrific. How many troops do you have now?
I have 7 units. We have 320 young people who make up the
Wow.
team. We did 1,502 shows last year. We turned down about 300 requests, could not put them into our schedule.
Wow.
We're proud of the fact, too, that out of all of the young people we have on our team, we have 53 in college. And we give each one between $3,000 to $8,000 toward education. You can be a good athlete once you be a good student and a good human being.
Boy, that's terrific. It really is.
And then we have strict rules and regulations, no drinking, smoking, swearing, dropping out of school, or disliking anyone because of race, creed, or color. That is the ugliest card in the deck. Cannot play that one and yet remain a part of our program. We're proud of the fact, too, that we've traveled to Tokyo, Japan on 3 occasions for Nippon Television, China, Hong Kong for the Chinese New Year, Honolulu, Hawaii, Honokai, Hawaii, 17 times to Canada, twice to Bermuda, once to the Cayman Islands, Israel, Belize, Zagreb, Croatia.
Wow.
And we just believe that when you take our young people out of their immediate environment and give them an opportunity to see this big, wide, wonderful world out there, get a chance to meet people from diverse ethnic backgrounds, it's a win-win situation for all of us.
Well, that's terrific. I know that when I've had the opportunity, which doesn't happen that often, to converse with the tumblers, especially when we used to have 50 Fest over at Warren
I
Park.
remember that well.
Yeah, those were
Taste of
those
the
kids are
50s.
quality people. They really are.
Well, we believe that young people who make up my team have to be in school on time every day and have one aim in mind, that's to get the best education possible. We want to make sure they stay away from gangs, drugs, and those negative aspects of life. We want to let them know that there's this big, wide, wonderful world out there, and if they are to fit into it properly, they have to conduct themselves in a proper manner, and they have to become, put something between their ears every day other than scalp. We're talking about knowledge, and that will carry them far. And we've had over 13,500 young people, as I said before. And at last count, only 115 have gotten themselves in trouble with the law. It's been after combat juvenile delinquency. And when these young people are given strict rules and regulations to abide by, you'd be amazed at how well they respond to it. Because many of these young people come from a motherless or fatherless home, and the only real meal that they really get a chance to meet on a daily basis and on a regular basis is yours truly. All that I am today, all that I hope to be in life owed to someone, and that's why I've been involved for 53 years. When you get it, you give it back, and you also remember to do something good for someone every day.
I think that's terrific. And by the way, I want to join you in saying that the biggest problem in my mind with a lot of the kids and parents in this country are the lack of discipline.
Well, the lack of discipline, in fact, a lot of these young people have come into this world with there only being a single parent involved. The father sometimes is absentee, and so they learn their skills and are reared by what happens on the streets. The street leaders, the gangbangers, the drug dealers.
Which unfortunately there's a lot too many of. But
Oh, no doubt about it.
yeah, the trouble. And see, I'd like to make you president of the United States because you like to really get down and do solutions to things.
Well-
there'd probably be an honest conversation about these things if you were there.
I'm a former military man, and so I don't take any prisoners.
I'm with you all the way. It's interesting. I don't know if you want to get involved in the debate. I love watching things like the McLaughlin Group and Inside Washington. I'm not going to talk about what we talked about before the show. But what are the arguments I never thought about when they're talking about, like, right now Eric Holder's talking about, letting people, not prosecuting certain people with drug crimes. And somebody brought up that the average drug addict commits 11,000 crimes over the course of a lifetime. And one of the people who I'm not crazy about at all, Pat Buchanan, and I very rarely agree with him, and I'm not saying I agree with him here, but he brought up an interesting point. he talked about when you look at the decrease of crime across the nation, is it because there's so many people in jail right now? Does that have anything to do with it, or? You know, I know
Well,
that's not your field of
That's
expertise.
not my area of expertise, but I believe that we should start the process early on, and let's start with our youth. Make sure that they become better educated and better informed. Teach them about society, what is required of them, what is expected of them as a human being, and guide them and nurture them and do all you can to let them know that there's a difference between right and wrong.
See,
and
you're
then you-
positive. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But you also have to not only say that to them, but you should conduct your life in a manner in which they will look at you in admiration. So they will do like what used to happen when I taught school. They wanted to be like Mr. White. They want to talk like Mr. White. They want to one day be Jesse White. And the same thing happening when I was in school. I can think of all of the wonderful teachers that I had. And I always wanted to be like them. I used to dress like them, walk like them, talk like them, because I admired those individuals, and they helped me to be where I am today, and I've never forgotten it.
I think that's terrific. See, one of the things that's always great about you, you're always positive and proactive, and you're always trying to not just look for the good, but make good, period.
Roll up
And-
your
and-
sleeves and make society a better place in which to live.
It's important, and not enough people think that way. Too many people are busy. You know, I keep seeing people, you know, with their iPads and all the rest of it, and punching things in, and on their cell phones, and, you know, watching this and watching that, and I refuse to have a cell phone.
Well, I'm glad you refuse to have one, especially when you're driving, because you know I was instrumental in bringing about a ban on the use of cell phones in school zones and in construction zones. And of course, there's a representative by the name of John D'Amico who has put a bill in place for the governor to sign that would put a ban on the use of cell phones anywhere in the state of Illinois. I was also instrumental in bringing about the BAE device, the BAE, the breath alcohol ignition interlock device, which means that if you get a ticket for drunk driving, for DUI, and you still want to drive, you could ask the Secretary of State's office to have this device installed in your automobile. And if alcohol is detected, then the car won't start. It's a certain amount of alcohol. And so I was talking about this device at a high school, and the young lady said, well, Mr. Secretary, if he cannot blow into the tube successfully, can I blow into it for him? I said, yes, you can. But if you do that, you're looking forward to going to jail and spending about a 1 year period of time there. And the light should have come on and let you know that you're in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person at the wheel. So that has brought about a new thing that we've put in place as of July 1st. We are putting cameras in the automobiles of
Wow.
individuals who have the BAE device in their automobile, so that we now know who the person is, who is starting the car, who's driving the car.
Oh yeah, because
And
somebody
it-
could just, you know, you can get somebody to breathe into it and get it started, and then go behind the wheel. I didn't think
That's
about
exactly right. And after the car has been rolling for a certain period of time, a series of beeps will emanate to let you know that it's time for you to blow back into it again.
Wow.
To make sure you didn't stop off at the bar to get some liquid appeasement. And so that's one thing that we've done to help our roads become safer. And then we also put in place Kelsey's Law, which means that if you are seriously thinking about driving an automobile, if by chance the process of doing so, and I'm trying to remember, but let me do this. Let me go to Patricia's Law. Patricia's Law is if there's a fatality involved and you want to be able to get court supervision. Court supervision is a slap on the wrist, go to driving school, pay a fine, and then shortly thereafter you can get your license. You will not be able to do that in the future.
Yeah, by the way, I'm very proud to say, and I don't want to admit how many years I've been driving at this point, but I've actually never been convicted of a moving violation, and I never had to go to any of the traffic school stuff. I actually did get caught for speeding. This is about 30 years ago. And I don't want to say how fast I was going on Western Avenue, but it was crazy. And I had a good lawyer, thank God. And after that, when I saw Serious Speeders Court, I got so scared, I just never broke the law again.
Well, see, that brings me back to Kelsey's law, which means that if by chance you are in driver's education, and there was this young man about 16 years of age who was driving his automobile. He had a permit, and he struck and hit this young lady. The young lady went to the hospital. They pulled him over to ticket him, and 3 days later, he was in one of my facilities getting his driver's license. He was driving on a permit, now he's going to get a valid driver's license. So I introduced a bill in Illinois, Jones, somebody that says that if you are in driver's education and you happen to get involved with an accident, or if you have any kind of a moving violation or any kind of infraction, we will ask you the question, do you have any cases pending before the court? And if you say no, and you really have, then we will suspend your license from our system.
No, that's terrific. I mean, there's so many people that don't check on these things. I mean, at one point in time, just for a short period of time, I had to say it, the token white guy in the Daily Defender. And I used to go to 26th in California and cover criminal court building. And I remember one day I covered narcotics court. It was like traffic court. You know, I was like, and this judge I think got taken down in Greylord later. But there was a guy who was on probation for possessing a large amount of heroin. He got caught with 5 kilos. He had the right lawyer, and the judge said, better be more careful next time.
Amazing. The other thing that I want you to know too, and that is, when I became the Secretary of State, well into my 14th year,
And many more.
there was the situation that took place down in Tazewell County, which is outside of Peoria, Illinois, where 16-year-olds lost their lives while driving. And so we established the Graduated Driver's License Program, where we required parents to spend 50 hours behind the wheel with the child, 10 hours at night. You can only drive up to 11 o'clock during the week and on weekends, and 10 o'clock during the week. And there are times when these young people would get a ticket. They used to go to court and represent themselves. Now they have to bring their parents to court with them. They just get involved with what is called street racing or drag racing. The car's impounded, they go to jail, they lose their license. And school districts would spend 1 hour behind the wheel in driver's education. Now we require every school to spend 6 hours behind the wheel with the child. And then we put on our website the ability for a parent to draw down a contract between the child and the parent. Both will read the document and affix their signature to it. So if there's an infraction, parent could walk over and say, Johnny, it looks like we have a little problem here. This is our contract. It says if anytime you have an infraction, like a ticket, that you're going to allow me to accept the keys from you, and you will get them back after a 3-week period of time or after a 1-month period of time. Is this your signature? Yes, it is, Father. Well, may I have the keys? And the parent can get the keys. Then we put on our website the ability for a parent to go into our petition my office to get a PIN number so they can go into my system and find out how well the child is driving or how poorly the child is driving. Based on all that I've said, there's been a 60% reduction in the loss of lives at the hands
Wow.
of these teen drivers because
terrific.
of strict rules and strict regulations. These young people are going to be our future leaders. We want to give them an opportunity to do so, and that's why within the Secretary of State's office, our mission is to help make the roads of Illinois the safest ever.
No, that's terrific. And one thing I always like about you and your office is there's always innovative ideas. And one thing I got to tell you too, when I talk to my friends, I mean, I remember when I used to have to go to like the facility on Elston when that was the only one around here. And basically, I had to bring not just lunch, but dinner also when I was waiting in line to do whatever it was.
Well, I have a solution for that. No longer do you have to bring your duffel bag, sleeping bag, or your lunch pail. We try to get you in and out in a timely manner.
I was going to say that, and by the way, it's funny because my neighbor across the street, Mary, who actually works for the city, and she's, being a city employee, she's hypercritical of other, because she works her job real hard. And she's always hypercritical of people in different government positions who don't do their job right. But the one thing I hear from her, I've heard it from Sonny, I've heard it from other people, is whenever they have to deal with your office, it's like they're not used to dealing with intelligent people in government who are supposed to do their jobs right.
Well, we have gotten rid of pretty close to 700 employees, primarily because they said, I love my job, but I don't want to work. Can I work for this administration if you're not committed to duty? Or they'll say, I'm late because the bus ran out of gas or the bus had a flat tire. Those excuses and more will not carry the day.
Yeah, the dog ate my homework.
You have to, that's right. You have to be at your duty station every day, discharging your duties to the best of your ability. And we're proud of the fact that we have some well-qualified, dedicated employees, and that's why we've been able to move the Office of the Secretary of State forward. This is the largest Secretary of State office in the nation, with 4,000 employees,
Wow.
$396 million budget, 138 offices and 23 agencies. I'm the head librarian for the state of Illinois. I have 5,000 libraries that come into my jurisdiction.
Wow.
And we distribute about
I didn't realize that.
$77 million a year in support of the normal operations of those 5,000 libraries. And then we have a $50 million grant that we give to other libraries if by chance they want to rehab or rebuild a library. They have to come with the matching part of the grant, and we will assist them with the rest. And then the organ and tissue donor program is one of the best in the nation. We have 5.3 million Illinoisans who've signed to become organ donors.
Wow.
However, there are 5,000 people on the waiting list as we speak, and each year about 300 people die because organs have not arrived in a timely manner. We ask that when you're alive and well, give blood. When you're no longer here, give organs, and when you've done those two things, you made a positive impact upon society, considering the fact that one person can provide life or improve the quality of life for 25 individuals.
Wow.
You may not have a need today, you may not have a need tomorrow, but sometime during your lifetime, you or someone that you may know will have a need. We just hope that when that moment arrives, that there will be an adequate supply of organs available. And then I'm also in charge of the literacy program, where we have 250 agencies, and we distribute $6.6 million a year, helping individuals who come to our great state who want to learn English as a second language, obtain their GED, and to become better educated and better informed. Corporate filings and securities, keep the seal, court of claims, chief archivist, business services, indexing, the list goes on and on as to the functions of the Office of the Secretary of State. Not only have we taken on a job, but we've taken on a responsibility that goes with it, and we're proud of the fact that we are delivering the services to the people in Illinois in a timely manner and in a highly professional way. And if by chance that does not occur, I want to know about it.
I want to get double ethnic on you real quick, and then we can go back to the Secretary of State.
Jesse Veit.
First of all, Dave was Dave Drucker, ACPR guy, and that's an understatement. He is an example. Him and Beth Kaufman are examples of the kind of really fantastic people you've got, working for you.
Sure.
Even though this is going to air in the middle of all the Jewish holidays, it's going to be on the web in a couple of days. So I want to give you the opportunity. I know you wanted to wish a happy, healthy New Year.
Oh, yeah. Happy Rosh Hashanah.
Thank you very much, Landsman.
Yeah, I'm a good landsman. Jesse Veit.
Yeah, having been in Israel and all the rest of it and going back, you definitely should have that opportunity.
I forgot to bring my yarmulke.
I have an extra, but I can't get off the set right now.
I understand. I understand.
And one other thing I want to talk to you about too, I know that you were at the 50th anniversary of Martin Luther King's, the March in Washington, and he to me was one of the really outstanding figures I've ever seen in my lifetime, and I wish there were people like him now. I was going to say more people, but there aren't people like him right now. I still remember the day after he was killed, and I heard the speech he gave the day before when he talked about that, even if he should be killed, he talked about that the night before he was shot. He talked about his own death. I actually sat and talked to my favorite rabbi for a long time about, did he have prophecy? I mean, what kind of special man is this?
Well, I knew him, and I knew him well. I graduated, I was a student at Alabama State College. Better yet, let me go back a little bit further. I was a student at Waller High School here in Chicago, which is now Lincoln Park. And I won a scholarship as a basketball and baseball player. to Alabama State College in Montgomery, Alabama. And while I was there, Rosa Parks, who was the lady who
Wow.
refused to move to the back of the bus, was arrested. I was a parishioner at the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. Dr. King was the minister. And we were required 12 scrollers. I was a pledgee for the Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. Ralph Abernathy, the famous civil rights
I remember
leader,
him.
said that required us to attend this church for the next 8 weeks. And while we were attending the church, Rosa Parks, the lady who refused to move to the back of the bus, was arrested. And so at one of the meetings, he said, I've been asked to lead the charge to desegregate the Montgomery transit system, and I solicit all your support. He said, but I'm going to use the same approach that Gandhi used when he was instrumental in bringing about the independence from the British, the Indians from the British. And which means that if you happen to get slapped on one cheek, you turn the other so you can get struck on the other. And I said, Dr. King, you know me and you know me well. I'm from Chicago and we don't operate like that. So they laughed, and so he said, well, just follow the script. Well, as it turned out, through the efforts of Dr. King and others, we were able to break the back of the Montgomery transit system. And after the basketball games, he used to meet me and give me $20. I was hard pressed for money. And
That's a lot of money in those days.
big money in those days. But every game, I can't remember a game that he did not walk over and shake my hand and lay $20 in my hand.
Wow.
Which is wonderful man, great experience. And I learned a lot more about love for my fellow man and woman from this gentleman. And if we could put him on a Xerox machine and run off 1,000 copies of him or more,
Wow.
this world would be a better place for all of us.
I'd be happy if there's just one or two guys like him right now, to tell you the truth. That's more than what we've got.
We want to make sure we can spread him around the world.
Yeah, no, he was, for people who weren't alive when he was there, I mean, I can't begin to tell you how special a man, I mean, I never had the privilege to meet him or anything, but when I saw him speak, I was just, I was totally enraptured watching him.
By the way, did you remember former Mayor Eugene Sawyer?
I know the name, but I can't tell you.
He was the mayor of Chicago.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, he and I lived in the same dormitory.
Really?
Yes. So we were there during the bus boycott. God rest his soul, he's no longer with us as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I know he was a very capable individual, no question about it.
Good man. He was from Alabama. And then after he graduated, he moved to Chicago and then later became the alderman of his ward, and then later on committeeman, and then finally mayor of the city of Chicago for a short period of time.
It's funny, I know you were in the Cub system, but anytime somebody says the Alabama to me, I always think Whistler, Alabama, because Billy Williams was always my favorite Cub player.
Whistler, Alabama is right outside of Birmingham. Yes, I knew Billy Williams very well.
Yeah, and one of these days I've actually got a baseball bat of his, but we're running out of time. I'll tell you off the air. But I actually sent a letter to Yash Kawana. I was a line drive hitter.
Yosh Kawano.
Oh, sorry.
Yosh was the equipment manager for the Cubs. Was a Japanese fellow. Very short and very nice and very knowledgeable. So Yosh and I are good friends.
I sent a letter to him saying I'm a line drive hitter, and you couldn't, in those days, not everybody had a baseball bat available. Mm-hmm. He wrote me back a letter. It was so nice of him. I wrote the letter to Billy Williams. He sent me a letter saying send something like $6.37 to Hilrick Bradsby, and they shipped me a real Major League Billy Williams bat that I still have.
Wonderful, wonderful.
And one of these days I'll get it autographed.
Well, he's a good friend of mine. If you can't get it, I'll help you with that.
That I'm going to take you up on.
Okay. Okay.
That's for sure. He was always my hero as a ball player. And
good friend.
I even patterned listen, I couldn't swing like him. I was a good line drive hitter, but he was amazing. My favorite player of all time. We're out of time, and I wish we had another 30-something minutes or whatever, but I want to thank you very much, Jesse White, Secretary of State. I want to thank Dave Drucker, say hi to Beth Kaufman, and listen, keep up the great work. It's always a pleasure to see you, and I wish you all the best of health and all the good things in all your wonderful endeavors.
Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to serve.
First of all, it's my pleasure always, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.